He can cook a shoe and it'll taste delicious. You don't even have to bring your own, he says. And that's neat. It's Tom White. This is Teaching to the Test Pattern.
Hey, buddy. Welcome to Teaching to the Test Pattern. I'm Tom White, your host, and it's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks. Kind of got into a rut with this quarantine and not really creative, not really doing a lot. And sorry about that, but I'm back. And today, really excited to present this series of episodes with a good friend of mine, Chris Williams. Chris and I worked together when I was in Atlanta. We launched Project 961 in 2006, and Chris has had a pretty impressive radio career starting in Athens, Georgia, and now as the Chief Product Officer of iHeart Media. He's based in New York, as you'll hear in, I believe, the third episode of this series. He still commutes once a week, obviously, Fridays and weekends, comes home to spend time with his family, and really excited that you get to experience this. Chris has a great story on how he got started, and you'll hear that in the first episode of this three-part series. I want to thank our sponsor, Amatrace, AMITRACE.com, for their continued support. They have they've continued to work and adapt during this COVID period and have taken on some new challenges with some churches and houses of worship and things like that. So really, really proud of those guys, and wanted to share with you that earlier this week, NewTek released an updated version of the TriCaster Mini 4K. If you don't know what a Mini 4K is, it's about the size of a shoebox, and it is a hardware, software solution that lets you switch, stream. It's really, really cool, but the difference in this is it totally uses NDI. There's no SDI or HDMI inputs. So, and if you're worried, if you're like, my school system, we'll never get that. It's got it built in. You just run Cat 5 cables to a Spark or what have you, and boom, you're on the air. They updated it, tied in Live Story Creator, which Amatrace did a tutorial the other week or so ago about it, and Faraz did a fantastic job showing you how you can create a Word document that will really just run your show. I mean, it will be a teleprompter for you. It will switch cameras. It will add graphics. It will play video. It will do all that stuff. So that's Live Story Creator. Really, really a cool thing for really anybody, but I think in education, it's good because it'll let you do some things that you can't do because the kids may not know how to do it. You can just put it in a document, upload it into your TriCaster. I send mine over to Google Drive and then just bring it into my TriCaster from there, and it works wonders. So head over to Amatrace, AMITRACE.com. Check out their latest builds. Get information about the new TriCaster Mini 4K. Check out their blogs. They blog about what's going on in the industry. So definitely go check them out. They're true professionals. Now's the time you need to start thinking about what you're doing for the fall. If you're opening a new program or if you're running into a batch of money, AMITRACE.com. Look, they just do video production. They're not talking to you and then going down the hall and talking to the automotive guy and then going down the hall and talking to the welding guy. They're talking to you about video production. So go check them out today to get started. And now it's part one of my conversation with Chris Williams from iHeart Media.
Teaching to the Test Pattern.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So, all right. Well, I am on now with a good friend of mine, coworker, boss, friend, I think is the best way to go with it.
Best way.
Chris Williams from iHeart Media. And Chris, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do.
Sure. And I've been with iHeart since 2005. So we're looking at 15 years with this company, at least. And I've been in the media space, starting in radio since 1992. And that math I can't do off the top of my head, but it's been a long time. And right now I'm the Chief Product Officer of iHeart Radio. So I oversee all of iHeart Media's consumer-facing digital products. Top of that pyramid, of course, is the iHeartRadio app, the iHeartRadio websites. But of course, we also have 850 radio stations from across the country. And so we oversee all of those station websites, Premier Media, which syndicates Ryan Seacrest and Steve Harvey and The Breakfast Club, all of their digital properties, websites and apps, et cetera. And so that really all falls under the product division for iHeartRadio.
And you and I worked together in Atlanta, and had a unique station there. One of the rare stations where everybody was their hometown. One of the great things that I always enjoyed hearing you tell was your start to radio. So tell us that story. That's always fun to hear.
Sure. So I'm from Georgia. I was born and raised in Athens, and went to Clark Central High School. And I always was a fan of radio as a medium. I just found there's something about it that connected with me. The DJs, hearing morning show hosts doing bits, and I was one of those people that would call in and try to get on the radio, make requests. I would do little skits and call the morning show and try to get on. And when I was in high school, I started doing the morning announcements for my high school when I was a freshman at Clark Central. And for years doing the morning announcements, all my friends would come up to me and say, "Man, you should be on the radio." And I should be on the radio. Why not? And it just so happened that there on Millage Avenue, where Clark Central High School is located, there was an AM radio station that was right across the street. So I went over one day, was introduced to the program director of the station, spoke with him for a while. He took me into a recording studio and said, "Hey, record these 2 scripts." And I was a 16-year-old kid at the time. I think he just was patronizing me, but he allowed me to do all that. And he listened to him and gave me a little bit of feedback. And he was like, "Yeah, sounds good. We'd love to find a place for you here, but we're just not hiring right now. So come back next month." So next month I came back first of the month and literally knocked on the door, and he came to the door, and I said, "Hey, you told me to come back." He goes, "Oh yeah, no, nothing's changed. No opportunities, but just come back and talk to me next month and we'll see what we can do." And first of the month for 13 months, every single month I came back, I knocked on that guy's door, and finally after 13 months, one day I get a call, and it's the program director, and he says, "Hey, are you still interested in working here?" Like, I don't know what the past 13 months haven't properly communicated, but and that was it. It really just was the persistence of, it was something that I genuinely wanted to do. I really was passionate about it. I thought that there was that it would be a unique experience. I never thought of it as a career. I really thought, like, I can kind of go the regular route, and I can go work at the drive-through at a Chick-fil-A. Cool. But boy, wouldn't this be a cool way to earn some money while I'm in high school and while I'm in college, getting a degree to go get my real, big person job. And, but that was it. And that was my first gig. And, from that, I just started to fall more in love with what radio was about and what radio could do, and the way radio connected in the community, and the way it connected with people. And I remember, like, the moment that it hit me that it was going to be more than just a part-time gig to get me through college was, the station that I ran. And ultimately I wound up, running, we bought an FM station, and I ran the FM station while I was in college, and we were an alternative station. And this is back in the mid 90s. And so we were playing a lot of new music and bringing bands to town, and people would come up to me at the concerts and say, "Oh my God, this band is my all-time favorite band." And the first time I ever heard of them was when you played them on your show, or you played them on your station. And that, like, sparked something. And I thought, oh my goodness, we were able to do that. Like, we made that introduction to a thing. I mean, music's meaningful. It's important in people's lives. And we were able to connect this music with this person, and it's now their favorite band. I got to do this. Like, this is the job. And that was it for me. And from that point on, I was like, well, I don't know if there's a career in it, but I'm certainly going to try to figure one out.
One of the things that you said in there that I use as an example to my students is the persistence that it takes to get that job you want. And to, and I tell the story of, you'll probably remember this, the time where we were getting ready to launch a contest on Monday morning, and one of the designers wasn't done. And, it was at 10 o'clock. Hey, I'll be done. Noon, I'll be done. 2, I'll be done. 3, well, I got to go. It's 5. And we basically camped in his office till 4 o'clock in the morning until he got it done.
Nope. I'll tell you the other thing, the reason that I have the job that I have right now, and the reason that I had the career that I had in radio, and I know for a fact that you're going to be able to say that your experience was identical, was that when I started, I was a part-time employee and they only had enough money to pay me to work 10 hours a week. And so I said, okay. And I would go fill 10 hours out on my timesheet and I would hand it in and I would be in the radio station for 60 hours a week. And they didn't care. I just was there as long as I didn't fill out more than 10 hours. And it's amazing the people that I've come across in my career who that was their mindset, who have succeeded, versus the people that I've come across who they're in the middle of a project and what do you know, the clock strikes 10. Those are my 10 hours. They put their pencil down and they say, I'll pick it back up next week, boss. And you go, well, all right, you're well within your rights to do that. That's exactly what you're being compensated for. Your time is money. I understand it. And if you're here for a job and you're here for the compensation, I guess that's the approach. But if you're there because of a passion and you're there because you're trying to lay the foundation for a future and you're investing in a career, I know that person's not going to make it immediately. That's all the sign that I needed. And so, like I said, I know that you did the exact same thing. You log the 10 hours, you log the 12 hours, and then you work as long as it takes, because what you're really investing in is learning the trade. It's just like going to school. You're investing in those other 30 hours that I was there, 40 hours that I was there, that I wasn't on the clock. What I was doing was investing in accelerating how fast I became proficient in understanding how radio worked, how the equipment worked, how the medium worked, building the relationships and doing all of those things that if I had only invested the 10 hours a week that they allowed me to do, my path to expertise would have been an arc that took 20 to 30 years versus being able to shortcut that. And within 2 to 3 years, you suddenly go, I think I know enough to at least be dangerous and be able to start trying some things out here. And so I think that persistence in getting your foot in the door. And then the moment that you have your foot in the door, taking full advantage of the opportunity beyond what the minimum number of hours that you're technically on the clock for. And
I 100% agree. It's funny as you're saying that, I think about how you started on the programming side, I started on the marketing side, and how it's, how the views are changed. And someone asked me the other day about my radio career, and I said, I was different in that most people did the marketing side so that they could be on air. And I was like, I tried my hand on air so I could do the marketing side, and quickly learned that on air wasn't for me, but the marketing side I really, really enjoyed. I don't know where I heard this, but and I use it with my kids all the time, that an employee works by the hour, a professional works.
Right.
Period. And I think that's a big thing. And, there were times when I was in North Carolina before I came to Atlanta where I was a gig worker. So I got paid by the gig. Mm-hmm. There were times where I made more money than my boss in a month.
Absolutely.
But I worked all day and night, and it was great because I had no wife, no kids, and I lived in an apartment by myself.
Teaching to the test pattern.
So persistence is the key to the game, and you're going to hear more about Chris's persistence on his way to his role at iHeart Media, including some time in Athens, some stuff that we did in Atlanta, and next episode I'll tell you about some things that he left out that really show his persistence and gives you a real understanding of kind of how Chris operates. Thanks again to you for listening to the show. Thank you to Amatrace for making the show possible. AMITRACE.com. Go check them out now. I know you're probably starting to think about what to do next year. If you're looking at equipment, you're looking at a new studio, or you're looking to revamp an old studio, AMITRACE.com. That's Amatrace. Go and see what they have to offer. I mean, the worst that happens is you come up with an idea, you have a huge idea, but a not so huge budget, and they go, yeah, we can't do that, but we can do this. Definitely give them a call. Go to their website, see what they've done, then give them a call. AMITRACE.com. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, and as always, go make some awesome.
Teaching to the test pattern.